it's Kira, and I am here with my National Scrapbooking Day Challenge. So, I was challenged to use Life Crafted album and to use layering in my project. And we're going to be using some of these, some of the free printables that you can access through Citrus Twist kits. So I decided to kind of scrapbook about my husband working during the coronavirus times. He is a mail carrier, so he's an essential employee and has to continue working through this, which is kind of like good and bad, I guess. Like, I'm worried about him because he's out there and exposed more than the rest of us, but we're one of those lucky people that still has a job. Like, he's still able to go to work, and he works, he gets his 40 hours a week. He can still get overtime. And so we're just, we're one of the lucky families that don't really have to worry about struggling during this time. And so I kind of just wanted to, scrapbook about that. So I got this photo of my son, Jonathan. My kids really like to see the postal truck. My husband comes home for lunch every day, and so they get to see the postal truck sometimes. They don't want to see it every day, but they do get excited to see it sometimes, and they're able to climb inside and, look at all the letters that Daddy has to deliver and stuff. So I got a picture of my son, Jonathan, and I printed it in black and white because there were just a lot of colors on it, and I wanted to be able to use the colors included in the Life Crafted kit. And so I made a little envelope with the Life Crafted papers, and I just did this on my We Are Memory Keepers envelope punch. I have the regular one and the mini one. Here's the mini one, and I'm going to make a few more envelopes. I made the bigger one is 2 by 3, I believe, and so I made that. The Life Crafted papers are not double-sided, so when you make an envelope, the inside is just going to be white. So what I did to kind of make a lining is I just stuck a piece of paper in there, taped it down, and then just trimmed around it so it looked like it's lined with a different pattern paper. And then for my layering, I do like to make lots of embellishment clusters. So you'll see that I layered like flowers and then little labels and chipboard and stickers and stuff. And I made a few clusters on that reverse page. The flowers that you're seeing on there, I actually took the digital Project Life card that has flowers all over it, and I turned it into a print and cut file. And then I was able to print and cut as many flowers as I want because I really like using flowers on projects. So this way made it easy for me to be able to use as many flowers as I want and size them as, the sizes that I wanted. And it worked out really nicely. So I have lots of those flowers that I'll be using on future projects too. So these envelopes are going to hold my journaling on the reverse page, and these are sized at 1 by 2. And I'm not going to line the inside of these, but the We Are Memories Keepers little mini envelope punch here is really cute. I mean, it creates these cute little envelopes, so I like to use it on my projects every once in a while, just because tiny little envelopes are adorable, and my husband's a mail carrier, so I get a lot of use out of it. So I'm just doing like 3 different pattern papers from the Life Crafted kit and punching all those envelopes down to 2 by 1. And I'll just fold these up, and I don't fold the top flap down. And I didn't do that with the other envelope either because I want to be able to stick stuff, like I want to be able to adhere that part down. So I just adhered, like lifted the flap up on the bottom and left that other flap just open so I can stick stuff inside. And I just, like I said, this page is about my husband working and how it's kind of a, it's a blessing, but also causes me to worry more than I feel like I should have to about my husband working. And so I just journaled about that, and I will stick the little journaling strips inside of those envelopes, which you'll see towards the end here. But I'm going to mess around with placement for a minute because I don't know, like I was like, okay, this is how I want the envelopes to be. But then when I start layering up these envelopes, I kind of change my mind. So you'll see that some of these, I made these, the free printables, I printed out on sticker paper. So they're just like little stickers, and I can peel the backing off, and they worked really nicely. But you can obviously just print them on regular paper, and they would just be like little die cuts for you. So here's where I'm like, I don't know, do I like that blue envelope at all? And so I thought that maybe I wasn't going to use that blue, but it'll come back in a little bit once I decide that I don't like this embellishment cluster on this envelope. So I'll end up bringing that blue envelope back, and I believe that's what I end up putting this cluster onto. So I'm just gonna adhere some more of these. That's like it's a sticker. That's a tiny word sticker that's included in the Life Crafted kit. And see, so I was like, well, I don't like the yellow envelope down here because I'm gonna use that drive piece. So the kit, the Life Crafted kit this month is kind of travel themed, which see, I can't make up my mind. So that it's kind of travel themed, which works out pretty well because I have lots of Utah pictures I'm going to scrap, but it worked well for this too, since it was my kid driving or pretending to drive the mail truck. So I use this little drive piece, down at the bottom. And I believe this is one of the, I think it's a printable. I think it's the Life Crafted kit printables from this month. Maybe the tags. So I don't think it's in the kit, but I think that you will have access if you're a subscriber, but don't quote me on that. So then I'm going to use some of the chipboard here. And what I like to do with the chipboard in the kit is I take it off of the adhesive, like I take the sticker backing off of it. Then I can kind of play with placement, before I commit. So I like to do that with all of my chipboard when I'm using it. So I decided that I will indeed use this blue envelope, but I'm going to put the embellishment cluster on top of that. And then I'm going to kind of layer the envelopes on top of each other in kind of like this haphazard way. And then I needed to decide how I wanted to adhere these in there. And at first I thought maybe I would just like leave a little bit at the bottom so it stuck out like that, but then it was like way too tall and it was sticking out the top of my album, and I didn't like that. So I was like, well, I'll just make it like an interactive element where it'll have a little ribbon at the top, and you can just pull the journaling out of it if you want to read the journaling. So the 3 little strips just say, different things about my husband working and how customers have been pretty nice. He's gotten a few gifts from customers on his route, which is nice, and little cards and stuff just telling him how much they appreciate him working during this time. And so I just put that in there, and I will end up putting one of the cards that he got, I will put in my album too, but the colors don't really go with this page, so you guys won't see it, but I will know it's there. So now I'm going to start adhering my envelopes down, since I know how I'm going to do my journaling, and so I adhere those down, the placement like you see, and then I'll cut all those journaling strips down, and then use a little piece of ribbon from my stash to create a little tab, and then you can just pull the journaling out when you need to read it. You can see most of the journaling. It's just like the bottom part of it that you can't really see, so I guess you could kind of look and see, well, do I want to pull this journaling out? Maybe not, or yes, and then you can pull it out. So I'm just adhering that ribbon on with my tiny attacher, so there's just like a little staple in there. And I'm liking how that's looking like right there. So yeah, that's pretty much how my page is going to look. I will get the last piece of ribbon on here, and then I'll have some close-ups at the end so you can see all the details of this layout and see how I layered all the embellishments. and how those little envelopes looked on the journaling side there. If you have any questions, you can leave in the comments below, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.